Less than 3 hours ago, crews were working to put out a fire in Bonaire where one person was injured. A worldwide impact, a plane crash that has left over 100 people dead. No one survived. A trailer went up in flames early this morning. We have the latest.
"911 called me. They had got the tag number off her car and got my name off of it. And they called me and said the house was on fire. I need to get out here, and asked was anybody in there, and I said, my son probably.
Tonight, a property up in flames in Bonaire as investigators figure out what may have caused the blaze. Good evening, I'm Jayla Whitfield. Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. Officials were called to the home around 4 p.m. today, and one person was injured. However, neighbors say without the quickness of the fire department team, it could have been so much worse.
These people, they know what to do. They know when the call comes, it's time to react. And they do it in a manly fashion.
According to a family member of those that live in the home, it is his mother's house, and both his son and grandson were at the home when the fire happened. He says they were taken to the hospital for their injuries. At this time, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Look at this video. A trailer went up in flames early this morning. Multiple emergency crews worked to put this fire out at Lake Blackshear. Sumter County firefighters stayed on the scene all night to monitor this situation. Now, WGXA's Brianna Giles was at the scene today where devastation lies. Brianna?
Jerry Harmon with Sumter County Fire tells me had his crews not reached the campgrounds when they did, these would have destroyed the entire site.
We actually had a volunteer from a neighboring county who was out on the lake fishing, and he saw it and came in to investigate and actually called it in. Arrived on scene, he reported multiple structures on fire and also had several propane tanks that had exploded as he was pulling up. We have multiple agencies. We had Chris County Fire come in. They brought an engine in with personnel. Also the city of Leslie, they came in and also assisted us with this. We had about 30 plus personnel on scene.
Harmon says crews counted a total of 14 propane tanks that exploded. He says they were finally able to get the fire contained at around 2:30 this morning.
Now, coming up later in the show, Brianna will show you what many have lost during that fire. Well, turning to weather, a couple showers moved over our station in Macon this evening. Now, meteorologist Matt Mackey is in the WGXA Weather Center watching the rain across the rest of Middle Georgia. Matt, what's the radar picking up tonight?
Just a couple showers moving through the area. We were forecasting maybe some strong storms. Thankfully, that potential didn't really materialize. Just a couple raindrops out there on the windshield, a couple rumbles of thunder in our southern counties in the general area. We'll take a look at that in just 2 seconds. For now, I want to go ahead and show you the temperatures across the region because they are warm. It was very toasty in places like McRae and Mount Vernon. They got all the way up to the 80s this afternoon. Right now, they are holding steady right around that 70-degree mark. 66 in Macon, 65 in Irwinton, 63 for our friends in Milledgeville. If you're watching us from Eatonton, Putnam County, Lake Country, you guys are getting just a little bit cooler, a little bit faster. You're around the upper 50s. Nowhere to go but down, but I don't think we're going to get that chilly as we go further into the evening. Overnight low temperature should bottom out somewhere in the 50s. Here's the satellite radar. This is what we've been watching all day. Right now, just a couple low to mid-level clouds moving across Middle Georgia. If we zoom on in, though, you can see closer to our neck of the woods over the past couple of hours, it's been moving through our central counties. Just a couple showers, no rumbles of thunder or anything in the Macon Warner Robins area. We've got to watch these storms as they move in from the southwest, places like Americus, Cordell. Some of those storms did bring a couple rumbles of thunder, but again, nothing severe. At the very most, this is rain and maybe a rumble of thunder off in the distance. If you hear the thunder, go ahead and stay inside. Aside from that, you're good to go out and run a couple late night errands if you need to get ready before your Monday. Like I said, we're colder tonight, though not all that cold. Overnight lows going to hold steady in the mid to upper 50s across the mid-state. Could see a couple of raindrops here and there, and those could linger into the morning commute, but it should not be a major impact. More rain is ahead. Showers tomorrow for both your morning and afternoon commutes. We'll time those out, show you exactly where they are, and then we've got another bigger rain chance for the end of the work week. In between that all, we've got a good run of warm weather with temperatures really a little bit above average. Then, a question that folks have been asking me, is winter over or what? Well, while the next week or so looks warm, I think the answer is what? I'll tell you what I mean in just a few minutes. Jayla?
Thanks, Matt. New at 10, one man is dead after a fatal car accident. Now, this accident happened last night around 9 p.m. According to deputies, a van was driving west on Napier Avenue and got off the road and hit several trees. The driver, 36-year-old Marcus Carswell, was pronounced dead on the scene. Anyone with information about this call is asked to call the Bibb County Sheriff's Office at 478-751-7500. Well, Bibb County Sheriff's Office is also investigating a traffic accident involving a pedestrian. According to deputies, Tiana Chaney was driving on Mercer University Drive when a pedestrian walked into her path. Michael Brown, the pedestrian, was transported to a local hospital where he later passed away. This accident is also under investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call the Bibb County Sheriff's Office at the number on your screen. In Georgia news tonight, according to authorities, 7 police officers in Georgia shot and killed a man who charged at them with an airsoft gun. Athens-Clarke County police say they were called to a home Friday night about an armed man. Police say they demanded 34-year-old Thomas Swinford to drop the gun, but he didn't. 7 police officers fired at Swinford, and he later died at the hospital. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is working this case. A car containing more than $500,000 in cash has been seized. According to authorities, deputies made the traffic stop on Interstate 75. The bills were bundled and wrapped in with plastic and rubber bands. The driver is currently charged with traffic offenses, but this is an ongoing investigation. Well, new tonight, today, one local church let their building in Piedmont church practice more today in an unconventional method. Instead of inside the church, they went out and helped others. WGXA's Tiffany Thompson gives you the first-hand glimpse at this.
Jayla, today's service held outside, but unlike a normal day of worship, church members spent their Sunday helping a woman in need.
Participants of all ages grabbing a paintbrush, a ladder, and working together. Church member Katie Kemper says the reason her church does this is because it's what being a Christian is all about.
Well, when you try to be a Christian and be a Christ follower, you want to mimic what Christ did. And certainly they met and had church, but when they had church, they really were out. They didn't have necessarily buildings to go to. They could meet in a house, they could meet in a park, they could meet in a yard, whatever the case may be. And they really were all about serving other people.
Kemper says, so by helping, they not only get a chance to bond together, but to also help someone in their community.
Coming up later, I'll show you how the lead pastor says this idea came about. Reporting in the newsroom, Tiffany Thompson, WGXA News.
Well, in sports, there's some great news tonight. Tonight, the Mercer women's basketball team had a lot to celebrate up in Asheville, North Carolina. Cam, another big milestone for the team tonight.
Exactly right, Jayla. You see the video playing here in the middle of the screen. The team just got back to campus a little over an hour ago from the Southern Conference Tournament. You saw the trophy right there. They brought it home for the 2nd straight season. Now, you got to put this in perspective. The Bears hadn't lost a conference game since 2017 heading into today's championship game. They were looking to keep that 0 in the SoCon loss column against Asheville. Here's how it happened. Kiki Calloway starting things off with a 3. She had 20 points in the first half. Bears led by 4 at the break. Now Furman answers right back. Taylor Petty with a 3-ball, and then Petty again. It's a pretty stroke from Petty. Furman up 4 going into the 4th quarter. Now Kiki Calloway is going to start to take over here. The drive and the finish, and she's going to come back one more time. The floater with the and one, she led all scores with 30 points in this one. And then Shannon Titus starts to take over in the 4th quarter. She would have 12 points, most of those coming here in the 4th quarter. And then Titus with a steal on the bucket all the way back herself. And now she's going to do a little wheeling and dealing, some dishing here. She's going to find Rachel Self for the bucket. Mercer going to be up 4 in the final seconds. Furman's going to have a shot to get a shot off here. Mercer, though, is going to get the rebound. Ball's going to go back out to Davidson, though, who's going to get another shot off as the buzzer goes off. But it rolls out. Mercer hangs on to win 66-63. Let the celebrations begin. Here's our AJ Good wrapping things up in Asheville.
Well, Cam, this game was as thrilling as it looked in those highlights, a back and forth affair from start to finish. The Mercer needed all 30 points from Kiki Calloway and 12 from Shannon Titus, all of those coming in the second half. The knockoff Furman here this afternoon, 66-63. They extend their Southern Conference winning streak to 34 games and win back-to-back Southern Conference titles.
But let's think about what these seniors have done in the last 2 years. Gone undefeated in the regular season and won 2 championships. So that's a lot of winning. And I'm not saying we're the best team that's ever come through the SoCon by any stretch, but these guys, these seniors know how to win. And we got it done tonight somehow.
They got that offensive rebound kick out. Sanford did the same thing to us in regular season to hit the shot. So I think we were all a little nervous. And so when it bounced off, I mean, it was just crazy. I think last year it wasn't quite as down to the wire, and so it was a little more build-up. But today it was just like buzzing off. It was awesome.
Now over to the Mercer men, who saw their season come to an end last night to Furman 85-74. It was the final game in the careers of Corey Kilby and Jalen Stowe. Jalen Stowe went out in style, scoring a team-high 16 points in the game, and a great way to end his career in the black and orange.
You know, there's a couple plays I could have made, you know, but that's just a part of the game. But, I mean, it was a fun game, intense game, you know, two good teams. So I definitely enjoyed the moment.
In the tournament, we know it's win or go home, and so the stakes are high, and I just want to go out there and compete, and I feel like I did that along with all my other teammates. They gave great energy, and Coach put us in a position to compete with them, and that's what we did.
The Bears now end the year at 11-20. Up next for the women, they'll await their fate in the NCAA tournament. They'll find out that on the selection show next Monday. In Asheville, AJ Good, WGXA Sports.
A plane crash in Ethiopia is affecting people all around the world. Over 157 people were on the flight, and there were no survivors. The full story coming up next on WGXA News at 10. Welcome back. A plane crash in Ethiopia is having a worldwide impact. Passengers from more than 30 different countries were on board, including 8 Americans and 18 Canadians. As the world mourns the lost lives, investigators are trying to determine what caused this crash. David Daniel has the latest.
For all of us. Today is a very sad and tragic day for all of us.
An Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed shortly after takeoff on Sunday, killing all 157 people on board. World leaders reacted as the death toll reached 35 different countries, with 8 Americans among the dead.
We are deeply saddened again, and we express our deepest sympathies and condolences.
Ethiopian Airlines flight ET-302 took off from the capital city of Addis Ababa just before 8:40 Sunday morning, bound for Nairobi, Kenya, with 149 passengers and 8 crew members on board. It lost contact with air traffic control and went down just 6 minutes after takeoff. The plane, a Boeing 737 MAX, was purchased by the airline in November of 2018. The CEO of Ethiopian Airlines said it passed all routine maintenance checks and that the pilot had an excellent flying record with more than 8,000 hours of experience.
It is a brand new airplane with no technical remarks, flown by senior pilots.
Investigators haven't pinpointed what caused the aircraft to go down, but say the pilot reported technical difficulties and had been given clearance to return to the airport. The NTSB is sending a 4-member team to the site to assist in the investigation. I'm David Daniel reporting.
Continuing coverage tonight, our team is working for you to find out why one trailer went up in flames overnight. WGXA's Brianna Giles was at the scene today where it all happened. Brianna?
Chief Jerry Harmon tells me that the retired couple that once lived in this camper here behind me not only lost their home, they lost both of their vehicles to the fire as well as their 3 dogs.
Just a rough estimate, probably well over $100,000, $200,000 worth of campers. Then you got vehicles and boats and all their cook sheds. I mean, this is devastating to this community down here. They're a very tight-knit group.
Chief Harmon says there weren't any injuries reported. Fire officials tell me that they are still investigating what caused this fire. Stick with WGXA. We will continue to keep you updated as we learn more. In Sumter County, Brianna Giles, WGXA News.
Thanks, Brianna. New in politics tonight, President Trump will reportedly ask for $8.6 billion in new border wall funding tomorrow. Now, that's according to a White House official who says the White House will reportedly ask for $5 billion from Customs and Border Protection and $3.6 billion in military construction forms from the Pentagon. Trump says the wall is needed to stop an invasion of illegal immigrants. Well, worshiping God from outside the church, Piedmont Church in Macon took their service outdoors today in order to help a woman in need. WGXA's Tiffany Thompson has that story.
Jayla, earlier today I spoke to Jerry Dingmore, who's the lead pastor at Piedmont Church.
Now he tells me this idea actually came after he realized there was one thing many churches do a lot of. But this thing is something he says he's looking to change.
21st century church. One of the things we do is we kind of turned it into what I like to call a religious coffee house, where the focus is on just internally getting together and just having a good time together and worship. There's nothing wrong with that. We worship. But that's become the focus of it, and it's just kind of a religious coffee shop. We build big buildings and cool places to come to. When you look at the gospel, it's supposed to be a spiritual hospital, a place about healing.
So his crew of all ages decided to take their lesson and move it outside, where they say their actions speak louder than words. And with the help of ladders, paintbrushes, and tools, got to work fixing up one Macon woman's house.
Now, I was also told they do these service projects multiple times a year, and they hope that by doing this, they can be an example for others. Reporting in the newsroom, Tiffany Thompson, WGXA News.
Great stuff. Thank you, Tiffany. Well, the Mercer baseball team wrapped up a tough weekend series against Indiana State today. Coming up in sports, the Bears attempt to avoid a sweep in front of the home crowd. Matt.
Thanks, Cam. We've got a ton to break down on our 10-day forecast. Warm weather, cold weather, rain, sunshine. I promise you we've got something for everybody after the break. Hey there, folks. Welcome into the Weather Center. It is 10:22. We're tracking just a couple showers and storms across middle Georgia. Nothing severe at this hour, but some of us dealing with a little bit of heavy rain. We'll start with the metro area. Macon, Warner Robins, just a couple raindrops filtering on through Wilkinson County, ultimately into Wrightsville, Sandersville. Don't be surprised if you get a couple raindrops on the windshield running some late evening errands. Check out this cluster of maybe some storms moving on into Sumter County and over towards Sly County. Along 19 between Ellaville and Americus, you guys will find some heavy rain. At this point, no rumbles of thunder. I do not anticipate that any of this is going to cause problems or disruptions. We might be able to squeeze out a rumble of thunder as this moves on over through towards the east. Rather warm out there, but this is not severe weather. This is not dangerous weather. If you hear the thunder, stay inside. Otherwise, have the umbrella handy because you will have maybe 10-15 minutes where it gets pretty rainy. I'm also tracking one more storm cell. This one's tracking along 280 between Cordele and Rochelle. If you're in Wilcox County, expect a little period of some heavy rain moving through your area. There are a couple rumbles of thunder to the south out towards Ashburn, further south towards I-75 over towards Valdosta. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. This is what it looks like for the majority of our area. Dry roads for most who aren't dealing with the rain in the area. 63 on the campus at GMC in Dublin with some calm winds. You think we get significantly cooler than that? Not necessarily. We're rather humid, rather muggy out there. As a result, temperature is going to stay in the upper 50s tonight, even with some calm wind to help cool us down. Here's where we're at elsewhere across the mid-state. I've got 61 in Baldwin County, 64 in Houston, Dublin 63, and hey, Americus, where those storms are coming on through right now, you're right around 70 degrees. I think you'll get knocked back a couple of degrees by the time the rain makes it towards your area. Where do we go from here? By midnight, maybe a couple rather isolated showers moving through Hawkinsville and over towards the east. By 10 for your morning commute, again, nothing major, but here and there, especially the central portion of our area from Thomaston on over towards Sandersville. Maybe a little bit of rain in the mix. By 2, it's still holding on. Could be talking about on and off showers throughout the day, but through the morning and afternoon, nothing major, nothing big, nothing organized. By the time we get to 6, 7, or 8, we'll have to watch that blob of rain sideswiping some of our southwestern counties. Montezuma, Americus, Cordele, you guys could get a couple rumbles of thunder with that. Then we finally clear out significantly going into the Tuesday morning overnight. For your commute, not expecting too much. Sunrise, 7:52, sunset, 7:39. We're getting more and more. Rain possible both on the morning drive to work and the afternoon drive back home from work. So have the umbrellas, have the windshield wipers ready to go. You're not going to need to cancel your plans though. Your forecast wind and rain brings our next storm system through. Some showers Thursday, and then check out Friday. This is coming through Friday afternoon. We need to watch these systems coming through. Could bring some stronger storms, and rain could linger into Saturday. If you're done with the warm weather, towards the middle to the end of March, I can get you a period of cold weather, below average. I don't think we're going to get a freeze out of this, but certainly we will be chilly. We're also going to be chilly on the other side of this rain chance. Check out Saturday, 100% chance of rainbows and pots of gold, otherwise partly cloudy, 60 degrees for your St. Patty's Day, waking up in the 40s. The day after, Sunday morning, we'll be waking up in the 30s, so we will need to bundle up, all in green, I might add. Then Sunday, cold start, few clouds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We should be fine for that. Your Fish and Game forecast is brought to you by Harrison's Good Range, 6:20 in the evening.
Well, the Mercer baseball team got off to a very hot start this season, but this weekend series against Indiana State has certainly cooled them off a little bit. The Bears looking to avoid a weekend sweep against the Sycamores, great mascot, today at home. Top of the 8th, Mercer down 2 runners on for Indiana State. Luke Fagan flies one out to center that's deep enough to bring a runner home. It is now a 7-4 lead for the good old Sycamores. Now, bottom of the inning, Mercer trying to respond. David Posas rips a single through the right side. Leadoff man is now aboard. And then 2 batters later, Kyle Dawkins puts down a bunt and lays down the wheel. Suddenly a little rally for the Bears, but nothing would come of it. 2 outs, and R.J. Yeager is going to hit a sharp ground ball to third. And we're heading on to the 9th inning. Still a 3-run game, but that's when Joe Boyle takes this offering from Taylor Lobus, gives it a ride. That's a 2-run homer to center field, and that will be your ball game. Mercer falls 9-4 and is swept at home, but head coach Craig Gibson is not hitting the panic button quite yet.
Man, that's a good club. I mean, they've got 30 upperclassmen, and you know, it's just a little difference in level right now, but a lot of bright spots for us, and you know, our margin for error is not. We don't have much margin right now. We've got to play well in all phases, and we'll continue to get better, but that's a really good baseball team.
Great stuff there. Well, thanks for watching WGXA News at 10. Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news on our website and smartphone apps.
We've got the WGXA morning team coming tomorrow morning. They'll see you bright and early at 7, but don't go anywhere. Full Measure with Shara Atkinson is coming up next.
Have a great night, everyone.